Welcome to episode 5 of the VanDyk Mortgage West Michigan Conference Weekly Coaches Show. I'm host Cody Kater. Each week we're chatting with a coach and players from West Michigan Conference football team. Last week we featured Oak Ridge, Welcome Eagles head coach Kerry Harger, and seniors Matt Danachek and Gage Lowry. This week we're joined by North Muskegon head coach Larry Witham, senior lineman defensive end Sam Gallo, and sophomore quarterback James Young. The Norsemen are 4-1 overall and 3-0 in the West Michigan Conference Rivers, tied atop the division with Ravenna. North Muskegon is coming off a 55-14 victory over visiting Hart Friday in the Week 5 North Grove Brewers WMC Game of the Week. This Friday, the Norsemen travel to Montague to face the Wildcats team that's reeling a bit after back-to-back losses to Whitehall and Ludington. Before we get rolling or rowing with the Norse, we need to thank our sponsors. They make content like this possible thanks to our title sponsor, VanDyk Mortgage Lakeshore. Also thanks to Foundation Systems of Michigan and John Botten, Scheid Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, David Dusenberry of Coldwell Banker, Durga Insurance, Green Ridge Realty with Chris Dykman and Sarah Real, Big Stone Therapies, North Grove Brewers, and Grieve Law. More about our guests. North Muskegon is rolling after a 24-22 season opening loss to Muskegon Catholic Central, in which the Norsemen led by 10 but could not finish it off. Since that loss, the Norse have won 4 straight by a combined 220-point differential. North Muskegon is coached by Larry Witham, a 1980 alumnus of the school who was in his 7th season at the helm for the Norsemen. He's a longtime football coach who's guided Hart's junior varsity squad to an unbeaten season the year that the Pirates did not field a varsity team. Accompanying Witham on the coaches show are senior offensive lineman, defensive end Sam Gallo, who is a college prospect and impressive sophomore quarterback James Young. Gallo is a 6'3", 220-pounder, is especially disruptive on the defensive end. He is averaging 6.2 tackles per game and has notched 9.5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. He also was a force on the defensive front this past season. Young, a 6'2", 175-pounder, has completed 74% of his passes, 84-108, also for 1,200, closing in on 1,300 yards with 18 touchdowns and only 1 interception. This is his second varsity season. He suffered a season-ending injury in Week 7 last year. All right, before we jump into this week's game, Coach, what can you say or what can you tell us about coaching for North Muskegon and coaching, at a school that, you have a street named after you, now that I'm, maybe not after you, but after your family.
Grandparents.
But what does it mean to coach for North Muskegon after, graduating from there?
Well, I started coaching when I was 16 years old at North Muskegon. I was coming out of my sophomore year of high school, and I got an opportunity to help coach Dynamites. So after practice was over, I would start coaching the Dynamites after I got changed out of my gear. And I knew then it was a dream of mine to coach at my alma mater. And it has been a blessing to be at North Muskegon. It's the dream job that I've always wanted. The dream job that I've always wanted to be able to coach kids from our own hometown, and I couldn't ask for anything better. And this year has been certainly one of the most impressive years that I've had since being there.
What have all those years prior to coaching North Muskegon, but also at Hart, but also with the Dynamites and those types of things? What have those years taught you, kind of going into this year, and as you guys are making kind of a remarkable run, at the beginning of the season?
Well, I think one of the things that it's taught me has been to understand the traditions of North Muskegon. I mean, being a player there, my dad was a player in the late 1930s. My brother was a player there on the only state championship team we've ever had in 1971. And then I was on the first playoff team at North Muskegon in North Muskegon history. So understanding the traditions and growing up in that as a family, we had many arguments around the dinner table about whose team was better. Mm-hmm. Now, my dad probably wins that one because he was on an unbeaten, untied, unscored on team. So, but nonetheless, understanding those traditions and then trying to deploy those traditions to the kids that I happen to coach, making them understand that they are role models inside the school, that there are kids like me when I was growing up looking up to my brother's football teams. They're role models for the kids that are looking up to them every Friday night that they play. And North Muskegon is a really unique place because you can walk in the doors of the elementary school and walk out the doors of the high school and never get wet because all of the buildings are connected. And so the little kids know all of the big kids know all the little kids by first name, and it's a pretty unique situation to be a part of. So it's really a very cool place.
Sam, you're going into your senior year here. It's kind of coming to a close. And as you kind of look back on your experience, as a Norseman, what lessons has football taught you, but what does it mean to you to be a Norseman?
It means everything to me. This town is all that I've ever known. I'm born and raised here, and it kind of gets me a little choked up thinking about it. But North Muskegon football has been the focal point of my life since second grade. It's been, what I've looked forward to all year. It's been what I've prepared for as long as I can remember. So this program really means everything to me. It's been the biggest part of my life for all my life. So
yeah, that's awesome to hear. Just the pride, that's in your voice. That's great. Young, so Mr. Young here, you're the quarterback. What does it mean to kind of be quarterback, for North Muskegon? I bet, growing up, you're probably playing over there on the side fields and then, during the games, and then you're probably practicing behind the stadium for youth and all of those things. So what does it mean now to be in that seat?
Oh, it's really fun. I like the aspect of leadership and leading my team and having a bunch of guys to throw to and let them do their thing. And I just have a lot of skill guys to throw to, and I have a great coaching staff that helps me every day. So it's been really fun.
Good deal. So you guys started your season off with that loss, and I know that probably was something that you guys learned from. What were some takeaways, Coach, from that after week one?
Well, the first thing that we talked about when we got off the field was the fact that we didn't want one loss to be two. We had to put that one away rather quickly, learn from some of the opportunities that we missed, enhance some of the things that we did really well, and made sure that we continue to do that, and put it behind us as quickly as we could so we could move on to the next opponent, which happened to be Orchard View. And Orchard View being a pretty good-sized school compared to what we are, Division 7 versus Division 4, it's important to put that behind us. So probably the most important lesson learned coming out of that was resiliency. To deal with the adversity, be resilient with it, and then move along and get better in the process.
So, Sam, what was some of the adverse situations that you guys learned from that week one loss?
Well, I think the elephant in the room for that game was the heat. I mean, it was like 85 degrees, turf. So
early in the day,
yeah. 4:00. So we really had to deal with that. But like Coach said, the mental side of it from right when we got off the field, just not making one loss into two. And our team is really, really good at understanding that mistakes are going to happen. It's part of a game. And we're really, really good at having a short memory and just putting those behind us and learning from them.
Right. So, as a quarterback, there's obviously a lot of opportunity where you can help the team, but there's also some opportunity, that lies in the game where maybe some things don't go or fall your way. What did you learn as a quarterback, in that leadership position from week one?
I think I should have controlled the game better. We had a 4-point lead. I forced the pass and they intercepted it, and we gave them a chance to go score again. So I think what I learned was just to take what they give me, as Coach Witham says a lot, and control the ball better. But I definitely learned a lot for week one going into later in the season. But
all right, so you threw the one interception that you've thrown all year during that time, and it sounds like it was at a crucial time, within the game, and you've learned from it already. Going forward now, in this season, what are some takeaways that you've had from moving on from that first game?
Not forcing stuff. I think just if they give me the short route, I'm going to throw the short route and have my guys get in space and make people miss. But I think what I've done best is just trusting my guys to catch the ball and they've been doing it. So
Good deal. So you, Coach, you've been part of this conference for a while. What do you think about the new divisions and the new conference breakdown? Like you said, like you're going against Montague this week, so you're crossing over. You guys also went against OV, earlier in the year where it's a D4 and a D7, like you were saying. What do you think about this new conference?
I like it. It introduces a couple of different schools that we haven't seen recently. We used to play Hesperia fairly consistently, and we used to open with Holton back 20 years ago when I was coaching. So I like the new format. I think it makes it a little bit more equitable when it comes to the enrollment aspect of the schools. We're playing schools that are of similar size. We lose some of the traditions.
Mm-hmm.
In my 7 years of coaching, I never had an opportunity to beat Oak Ridge. And we came close a year ago and just kind of missed out in the last 15 seconds of the game. So that's something I'd like to get an opportunity to do at some point. But I do overall. I think it's better. I think it's good for some of the Shelbys and the Hearts to play some teams that are a little bit more their size.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly beneficial for us, but we still keep some of the traditional rivalries. We still get an opportunity to cross over and play Montague. That's been a pretty big part of all of our lives, including yours at one point in time as a player and as a coach. And then we still have Ravenna. Ravenna is Ravenna.
Mm-hmm.
We all know about Ravenna. So I think overall it's a good thing. I really do.
Right, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. There's a lot of rivalries, within the conference, and what kind of looking back at the MCC game, what type of rivalry or what type of narrative is within those two communities when you guys faced up against each other at Hackley on the first week?
Well, I think the schools are very similar. Socioeconomically, they're pretty similar. We have two outstanding traditions. We've both been playing football a long time. Catholic was a much bigger school back in the day when they were winning state championships at Class B. We were bigger when I was in school when we were Class C. Now we're both smaller, and we still carry the same traditions and the same historical elements that make the rivalry, the crosstown rivalry, that much more important. So it's a great way to start the season. Two big names in Division 6, Division 7. It's a nice way to open it up.
Yeah, it's a win-win, right?
It is.
Both teams are going to come out of that kind of victorious. I know there's going to be one in the win column, but you guys both learned a lot, I bet, after that first week win or loss. And, the cliche coaches talk, it's not where you start, but where you finish.
For
so,
sure.
I mean, those things are real. All right, so talk about this Hart game, Sam. What, is the game of the week. You guys were kind of tied at the top of the conference there in your guys' side of the deal there. So what did it mean to kind of be able to win that in a fashion where there was no doubt on who the better team was?
I think it was a statement game for sure. Coming in, there was a lot of pressure on us to show what we could do. We had a couple big wins before, but this Hart game was super, super important to ourselves, mostly to prove to ourselves that we can hang with anybody. So to do that in the fashion that we did was really, really important for us.
So, Mr. Young here, you've been putting a season together. What have the seniors, looking back on my time as a player and now as a coach, my sophomore year was a breakout year personally, just because I didn't know if I liked football that much. I really liked basketball, and I was leaning more towards that. And the seniors kind of took me under their wing a little bit, and I really figured out what it meant to play for someone else and want to win for someone else. And I think, looking at your stats here and your storyline, what does it mean to play for, these groups of seniors like Sam?
it's a great group of guys going on. Denny Balmani, Eli Rudisell, Carson Moe, Sam Gallo, and a lot more, Kyle Huff. They're just good leaders, and playing with them is such a good thing. And, Denny had his 3 touchdowns. Carson had his touchdown. just seeing them blow up, because I know all the hard work they did in the summer, and they would take me to the weight room, because I couldn't drive, so they were taking me to the weight room and stuff. But they're good people.
That's usually a good sign, Coach, for the future when your quarterback can't drive yet. I found that out as well. So, what are your aspirations for the year? What, not personally, but as a team, what are your guys' goals for the year?
Definitely first the conference championship. Hasn't happened here in a long time. I'm sure Coach Witham can give you the year, but
1981.
1981, but definitely that. And then we want to make a deep run in the playoffs. I mean, we know D7's tough, so we got to bring it every week going into the playoffs. So,
all right. So now looking forward to this week's game against Montague. Did a little research. My wife makes fun of me, but on my favorite toolbar at the top of our Mac and also on our phone is the Michigan high school football records, where you can check out all the school's records, and it's a quick little we get to it just to see what's going on. Even this year, or today, we're kind of scanning it, some of the coaches and I. But one thing that I fell on was you've beat Montague twice in the last 22 years. You were one of them. I was a part of it. I was on the other side in 2016. But you've beaten them twice in the last 22 years. Does that hang over your head at all as you guys are preparing this week, Coach?
No, I don't think so at all. In fact, I didn't even – I knew about the 2016 win because that was probably the biggest win that I've had in my career, maybe other than a playoff game. But, no, that doesn't hang because every group of kids is different. This team can't do anything about 22 years ago, but they can do something about this week and making it happen today and making it happen tomorrow. And so that I don't dwell on that. We're taking one day at a time. I know that's coach speak cliche, like you had mentioned, but we're taking it one day at a time and preparing like, tomorrow is going to be the last day, because tomorrow might be the last day for somebody on our football team. James suffered a season-ending injury a year ago, and he knows what it's like to sit back and watch. Life is fleeting, and sometimes it deals you, lemons instead of lemonade. And so we just take one day at a time, and we're doing everything we can to prepare for Montague for Friday night. So
is the preparation throughout the week loose, or is it a little bit more buttoned up at North Muskegon?
I think weeks like this are a little bit more special than others. We know what's at stake, and we don't try to BS the kids any about what's at stake. They know. They're pretty smart kids. That's why we do the things that we do. And so they know what's going on. We know what's going on, and so the practices are a little bit more intense this week. I mean, starting today, you can kind of tell, and that's the way it should be. That's what high school football is about. It's about the rivalries. It's about the level of intensity. It's about the personal aspect of it to get prepared, and that's what's fun about coaching young guys, that they know what's at stake, and they just do everything that they can to excel. It's a blast.
Sam, do you guys smell blood in the water here? I know that you guys are the Norsemen. I did my best there, and Scott and will like that one. But do you guys smell blood in the water when it comes to the back-to-back losses for Montague?
They're still a tough team. No matter what their record is, they're still a very, very good football team. They're very well coached, and they're very disciplined in what they do, and they run their stuff, and they do it really well. So no matter what their record is, we're going to have to play them extremely tough to beat them.
What would a win like this mean for the North Muskegon program, but also just this team in general?
Well, we're trying to build something special here, trying to create a winning culture, and I think this will leave a mark on just my next 2 years and even kids coming up. I want them to know that North Muskegon's a winning culture, and we got to start that. So beating a team like Montague that's been good for a long time will definitely help that.
Coach, what do we have to do to beat Montague this week?
Well, let's see. That's a good question.
Don't reveal anything, Coach.
No, nope. I won't do
Yeah,
that.
what's the special plays? Come
Yeah.
on, give us something.
Yeah, we're not.
Don't open the playbook just
Yeah,
yet.
we're not getting into special. We just need to continue to execute. We've done a really nice job of on all three phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams, of taking care of business. We need to come to work every day, do our jobs. In fact, we said exactly that today during our practice. Do what you're supposed to do and do only what you're supposed to do, because you can't do what everybody else does in all 10 positions. And so if we do that, if we get off to the starts that we're kind of used to over the last few weeks, James has done an absolute remarkable job running our offense. Our offense is relatively complicated. He goes to the line of scrimmage with a run and 2 pass plays every snap of the ball, and he makes a decision. And so we kind of joke back and forth that he gets the keys to the kingdom every Friday night, and he's done a remarkable job driving the car. So even though he can't drive,
I can. I am 16.
Hey,
now,
he got his
just
license,
back
Coach.
in
Come on.
oh my God,
spring.
He's not riding his bike to the weight room anymore.
Yeah. He's moving into the moped here. All right, that's a good deal. Sam, what do we, as you guys prepare for this week, and you're kind of preparing for a long run here, with the playoffs and those kinds of things. What are your personal goals for this season?
Well, I'm just trying to honestly do whatever I can to help my team win. It doesn't really matter where they put me or what they ask me to do. Whatever Coach Witham asks me to do, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability and just execute whatever plans they have for me.
So when you got a leader like that, Coach, how easy does that make your job? I mean, just listening to both of them talk, they're obviously well spoken, but also they have their eyes on the right prize.
absolutely.
And so what does that mean as a coach, and especially wearing North Muskegon across your chest and being from there? What does that mean to you?
Having kids like James and Sam and all the other kids that I have had a blessing to coach over the years, every one of these kids are tremendous leaders. And Sam's certainly one of the best that I've had in the years that I've been around. I'll just paint you a little bit of an example. Up at Hesperia, we ended up catching a flag. He didn't. Another one of our players did. And before any of us on the coaching staff could get to him, Sam did before he even came off the field. He said, "That's not how we play here. You're a captain. You know better." We didn't have to say a word. Mm-hmm. He took care of it for us. And so it's those kinds of kids that make coaching special, and especially at your alma mater, especially at North Muskegon.
Yeah, that pride that
Absolutely.
everyone wants to play for. James, what does Montague have to do to stop you?
It's a tough one.
I think they're very good. I think they're good defensively, and I don't know what they're gonna throw at me, but whatever it is, I'm gonna look at their weak side and do whatever I can to help my team win.
So as you prepare for this week, and I'm guessing you're watching tons of Huddle, and we have a saying at RP, your mama might lie, your daddy might lie, but Huddle don't.
Yep.
How many hours of Huddle do you think you're putting in?
Definitely better than last year. The assistant offensive coordinator, my big brother Mac, lives with me obviously, and he's very good at breaking down film. He played at North Muskegon and has the passing yards record there right now. So him helping me at home on the TV, and also just me watching it on my phone. And then we're at his house 2 days a week, and then also on the weekends. So Coach Witham's very good at it, and he taught me a lot of stuff about breaking down film. So definitely better this year than last year.
Is your brother sabotaging you? Does he want you to break the record, or is he trying to do everything he can to maybe have you go somewhere else. Maybe he's going more for completion percentage for you, and then he can keep the yards, or what's the deal there?
Maybe a little bit of both. I'm not sure. He's definitely helped me a lot of what I've been doing this year, and he's a big part of it, helping me with mechanics and footwork and all that kind of stuff. But he's a great coach and a great big brother. So
right. And so what you guys all probably live rather close to one another, I'm guessing.
Yep.
You know, just being in that North Muskegon school district. Like, what do you guys have to do to get a snow day?
Oh God, we got to do a lot.
no, like North Muskegon.
North
it's
Muskegon
like
does
like,
not
there
close
was
for
one,
anything.
There was one day last year where every school in the county was closed except for us.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Right.
was crazy.
We do not close. I don't know
Because
what
I guess we can walk, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if we gotta ice the roads where the buses are or something. We've been trying to come up with a plan for that for God knows how long, but you know.
Right
I don't
on.
know if
Well,
it
maybe it sounds
pan
like
out,
maybe
but-
Montague's, you know, looking for you guys to have a snow day on Friday. So, Coach, you know, going forward, I know I asked these guys what their goals were this year, but as you kind of take a peek at, you know, your prior teams, and then also, you know, you're kind of taking a look at the future and what this team, you know, has foundationally, but maybe what's coming down the line. What are your you know, kind of your expectations or your goals really for the rest of this year?
Well, I think James kind of hit the nail on the head when he spoke about conference championship. You know, that is something that has avoided us over the last number of years. I think that's big. That's big for us. You know, and just staying healthy and hoping to make a deep run in the playoffs. We've been very, very fortunate in the fact that we've been very healthy this year. We've had very few injuries. Yeah, something that has not been nothing really catastrophic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that you know, we can kind of keep on that run and you know, get through the next couple of weeks here healthy and with a few W's, and hopefully we make some noise in the playoffs.
What's the playoff outlook look like for you guys?
Well, it depends on where the state of Michigan is going to put us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as you can probably attest to,
Mm-hmm.
we've gone east, we've gone north, we haven't gone south yet. So right now, the prognostications are that we would be in the same district as Ithaca, Pewamo, Westphalia, and Ravenna. You know, that's kind of a who's who of Division 7.
Mm-hmm.
We're very familiar with Pewamo. We've seen them a couple of times over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Played them pretty tough one year and then not so tough the previous year. So, and I've seen Ithaca on film, and obviously Ravenna we know fairly well. So, you know, it just depends. If we go north, it would be Lake City and Everett. Some of the schools up in that neck of the woods. We've played Lake City a few years ago in the playoffs. Played them real tough. So, you know, once you get in the playoffs, you just go. I mean, you know, you've been a player, you understand, and you know, whoever you draw, you draw.
Right. I think in the biggest piece of that is, you know, trying to stay away from self-inflicted wounds, you know, in the playoffs, and then also, you know, make sure that you're obviously understanding the moment, right? Winning that moment each, you know, even each practice, understanding that moment, and so you're always going to fall back to your preparation. So if your focus is lacking in a certain department, you're going to fall back onto that. I mean, the amount of games that we've won or lost off something, you know, so small of a detail, you know, it's amazing to know that it really truly is a game of inches, you know, and momentum and those things. But all right, so I mean, I'm really glad that you guys can make it. I mean, this was good and a good outlook for the rest of the season, and going into this week. And I think you guys are obviously going in the, you know, you're trending in the right direction. You got a big one over this week, you know, this game, and then you've got another one the week after that. So what does that look like for you as a coach? With those back-to-back games like that?
Well, I think that it's really good for us in a way, because our kids, there's no artificial getting them ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mentally they know what's at stake, and
Yes.
we don't have to create an edge. They
Yes.
already have it. And so we just have to build on it and teach them to feed off of it and enhance the preparation that we do during the week. It started tonight. You know, as soon as we were done Friday night with Hart, we were moving on. And we were already talking about getting ready for this week, making this the very best practice week of the season, the very best practice day that we can on a Monday, and then moving into Tuesday. And knock on wood, Monday was a really good day, even though the weather was pretty cruddy. But we still had a really nice practice tonight, and we'll continue to do that tomorrow and build up to Friday.
Yeah, playing in meaningful games are a lot of fun. Coaching in them are even more, more fun in our world. Because you don't have to get your players up for these types of games. And it's going to be like a playoff atmosphere for these back-to-back weeks for these guys. What would a conference championship mean to you, James, in your sophomore year?
I think it would mean a big thing to a lot of us. I think it's something that we all want to accomplish, and then obviously make a big run in the playoffs, district title, all that stuff. But, just going game at a time, week by week, staying with ourselves, but it would be a lot of fun.
Sam, if you guys stay focused and you guys are able to be, crown a conference championship or conference champion, you'd be walking away outside of those North Muskegon hallways like a champion forever. Yep. What would that mean to you?
I mean, it'd mean the world to myself and the rest of the seniors. We know that, since the end of last year, we've been working for it. And just to know that all that hard work has finally paid off in doing what we haven't done since 1981, right?
1981. Last outright.
Yep. Just the satisfaction of knowing that all that hard work has finally paid off would mean the world to all of us.
Right, and what a learning lesson too, for you and the rest of, North Muskegon youth, growing up. That
it would definitely paint a good picture in their minds, and like James said, we're trying to build a winning culture, and that's the first step, is winning the conference championship, and then doing whatever we do in the playoffs,
and working hard for it too.
Exactly.
I mean, and showing the youth, showing the youth that like the hard work wins. Rather than just special talent.
Exactly.
That comes through these hallways, but, actually really, really working for it and taking a lot of pride in your work. So, again, it's been a lot of fun, guys. I'm glad that we did this. I got to thank our sponsors one more time. Thank you to our title sponsor, VanDyk Mortgage Lakeshore. Also, thanks to Foundation Systems of Michigan, Scheid Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, David Duesenberry, Durga Insurance, Chris Dykema and Sarah Reel at Greenridge Realty, Big Stone Therapies, North Grove Brewers, and Grieve Law. That will do it for this week's episode of VanDyk Mortgage West Michigan Conference Weekly Coaches Show. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you soon.